Hello. Today, in this video, I'm sharing with you how to go about solving question 17 in the Math PSLE 2022 Paper 2 5-mark questions. Question 17. This is a strategy that I always use to solve word problems. When we solve a word problem, we are always encouraged to read carefully, and when we read, we also annotate at the same time. By annotating, we can either underline, highlight, arrow, circle. Now, highlighting questions is allowed, but we do not highlight our answers. We do not highlight our equations. We can only highlight the main question. Reading and annotating allow us to identify the concept, the heuristic. So once we know the heuristics, the concepts, we are able to solve the problem. After getting the final answer, we are encouraged to evaluate by using a different concept, a different heuristic to tackle the same question. If both answers are correct using two different methods, we are good. However, if both answers are wrong, then we have to reread and re-annotate and to re-identify the best concept, the most suitable concept, the most suitable heuristic to tackle that question. Now, this is the question taken from PSLE 2022, paper 2, and that's question 17. Okay, let's begin. Question 17a. Mrs. Lee baked a total of 40 large and small cakes in the ratio of 5 to 3. Let's do something after reading the first sentence. I'm going to write the number of cakes using ratio annotation. So the number of cakes are presented in this manner, large to small to total. So the large cakes, 5 units, the small cakes, 3 units. Of course, the total should be 8 units. And we should be able to do the first step because we are told that Mrs. Lee baked 40 cakes in total. So that means 8 units has to be 40. So 1 unit is 40 divided by 8, that gives us 5. Alright? And we are told to find the small cakes that Mrs. Lee baked. Small cakes is represented by number 3. So 3 units of small cakes. So 3 times 5, that gives us 15. Question A is very easily done. Let's move on to question B. Okay, I'm going to write question A answer next to the question here so that at least I can remember. Okay, so that is 15 small cakes. Because it is 15 small cakes, I can find the large ones, which is 40 minus 15. That gives us 25. So there are 25 large cakes. Okay, so 15 small cakes and 25 large cakes should give us a total of 40 cakes baked by Mrs. Lee in total. Alright, going to move on to question B. Now we are interested in the cherries used for decorations. The total number of cherries used for each large and each small cake was in the ratio of 3 to 2. Now I'm going to write the cherries ratio annotation, large to small. So one large cake should have 3 units of cherries. Okay, so it's in terms of units, not number of cherries, it's units of cherries. So one large cake should have 3 units of cherries, and one small cake should have 2 units of cherries. Okay, now we know that Mrs. Lee used 204 cherries to decorate all the small cakes and 7 large cakes. Now this information is superbly important. I'm going to highlight in yellow. 7 large cakes. So we already know that Mrs. Lee used cherries to decorate 7 large cakes. Now, one large cake, there should be 3 units of cherries. So 7 large cakes should have 21 units of cherries. Okay, all right. Now, we also know that Mrs. Lee already baked 15 small cakes. Right, this information comes from part A. Right, it's from part A. So from part A, we know that Mrs. Lee baked 15 small cakes, and 15 small cakes should have how many units of cherries? Super easy. So 15 times 2 units, that gives us 30 units of cherries. So Mrs. Lee used 30 units of cherries on all the 15 small cakes. So from here, we should be able to find out how many units is equal to 204 cherries. Super easy. So what we do is we take 21 units of cherries on all the large cakes and 30 units of cherries on all the small cakes. So I'm going to write down this in equation form. So 20 units plus 30 units, that gives us 51 unit. And this 51 unit has to be 204. Right? So from here, I can conclude that 1 unit must be 204 divided by 51. So 204 divided by 51 should give us 4. Okay, my answer is coming out soon. How many cherries did Mrs. Lee use for all the small cakes? So all the small cakes is actually this information here. This one here. Alright, so that means we need to find out what is this 30 units. Very simple. It's almost done. Okay, so I'm going to do here. So 30 units has to be 30 times 4. That gives us 120. 30 multiplied by 4. Let me rewrite in black. Right, so it's more visible. So this part is 30 units, right? So that will be 30 times 4, because 1 unit equals to 4, right? So 30 times 4 gives us 120. And 120 is the answer for part B. Alright, congratulations, we have completed part B. And we all know that Mrs. Lee used 120 cherries for all the small cakes. Okay, we are left with question C. Okay, question A. Let's recap. 15 small cakes, that's the answer. Question B, 120 cherries. Now we are going on to question C. How many more cherries did Mrs. Lee need for the remaining large cakes? Now, in our word problem, in our main question, we know that she used 7 large. We settled this long time ago in part B. Alright, we settled this in part B. So, we want to find out how many more cherries did Mrs. Lee need for the remaining large ones. It means there are some more large cakes. not mentioned. So we are helping Mrs. Lee to find out. Okay, all right, so this will be so. Okay, so the remaining large cakes. Now we know that out of the 40 cakes in total, 15 cakes are small, right? Small cakes. That means the large cakes we calculated long time ago, right? So the large cakes, we know that there are 25. Okay, one more time, let's do this again. So 40 cakes in total minus 15 small cakes. So this is our 25 large cakes. And these 25 large cakes, Mrs. Lee gave us this information. She used some cherries on the 7 large. So we want to, this one is settled in part B, right? So 25 minus 7 will give us 18. So these are the 18 remaining large cakes that we need to find out about the number of cherries. So this 18 is crucial. It's our core business. It's our business now. Okay? So we're going to attack the 18 large cakes now. How many cherries are needed to decorate the remaining 18 large cakes? Okay, so once we know this information and we are good to go, now we know that one large cake, okay, one large cake requires how many cherries? Okay, in our previous slide, we know that 1 unit equals to 4. Okay, now one large cake is 3 units. So it will be 3 times 4, that is 12. So one large cake required 12 cherries for decoration. Right? And we know that there should be 18 remaining cakes for part B. So 18 times 12 will be our final answer for part C. That is 216. So part C is done. We have completed question 17 from the year 2022 Math Paper 2. My next video will be on question 16. So look out for it. Okay, if you find my today's video on question 17 useful to you, give it a thumbs up, like my video. Feel free to drop me some comments, words of encouragement. And if you know there are friends or anybody who is taking PSLE this year, 2023, share my video with these people. And don't forget to subscribe so that you will know when my future videos will be posted. Right? Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching my video. Most importantly, thank you for your support. Goodbye. Take care.